If you're just joining.
I've been stuck in that same loop, like chasing what works, comparing myself, doubting everything. Creativity doesn't start with trends, it just starts with like being yourself.
Hi, it's Sydney, whatever you'd like to call me. We're back. Welcome back. And today we're talking about creativity. I love this topic, okay? I have a lot of videos on my other social media platforms talking about making social media fun again. And for our first pillar that we're going to discuss today is the pressure to conform. I think a lot of people don't discuss this enough about how you can lose yourself while trying to be creative, because a lot of people are copying aesthetics, copying content styles, copying personas, personalities, and you're losing yourself when you do that. And also you're gonna burn out. You can only keep up this facade or this act or this personality that's not truly yourself for so long. And a lot of people can see through that, right? I feel like a lot of people that enjoy my content enjoy it because I'm being genuine, I'm being authentic, I'm being just like myself. And what helps me do that is that I don't consume so much of other people's content. I'm constantly looking back at my own content, like my own old content, to see like, where can I elevate? Where can I expound on this? Where can I get better at this? And if you spend so much time comparing yourself to other people and your creativity to other people, you won't be able to see your creativity shine through because you don't know who you are. Comparison kills creativity, and you need to stop. Rediscovering creativity on your own terms. Pillar number 2. I believe the real shift in my content came when I stopped creating for other people and I started creating for myself. And I believe that this has been a blessing, but also not a curse, but also a little bit of downside to it. And I'll tell you why. The blessing or the high part of this is that once I started creating content that I enjoyed, it just made me enjoy it more. It made me enjoy creating more. It made me want to put out more. But on the downside, which I still think is kind of positive, is that if I create something, like say I create a series or a type of, content, and I see that people really enjoy it, and say I make like 3 or 4 videos and people are still wanting more, but all of a sudden I'm not enjoying it, I will stop creating it. And I do want you guys to be happy. I do want you guys to enjoy the content that I create, but at the end of the day, I want myself to enjoy it more, okay? Because I'm the one that's doing it. Okay, I'm popping in here for like a more like tangible tip. So on my iPad, I like to use GoodNotes. That's where I like to put my ideas. So if I see somebody else's content and it sparks a different idea, then I like to jot it down in my notes, and then I can refer back to it, and then I can kind of expound on that idea. Yeah, I don't know, it's just very easy to use. I like using different colors and stuff to make it like visually appealing, because sometimes if I have a lot of notes and it just looks like regular black boring typing, then I'm not like inclined to look at it. And sometimes I even like to script out my videos. Like I will put like the visual of like what I'll actually be showing, and then I'll say voiceover say this, or text on the screen say this. And I don't always stick directly to the script, but as long as I have my notes, it just makes it easier to like refer back to. So whether you have an iPad with GoodNotes or whether you have just a regular notebook and a pencil or a pen, I say put everything down so it can help you stay a little bit more organized. And it can also help you remember what ideas you haven't executed yet that you actually want to work on. Yeah, write it down. And I think that is the main thing that has kept me myself and kept me grounded and kept me just like really being able to push through even when I've been in creative ruts, is knowing that everything that I create is true to myself, and it's something that I wanted to do. It's something that I wanted to record, or I wanted to edit, or I wanted to put out. It wasn't like, I know this is going to perform well, so I'm going to post it. Even though I don't want to do this type of content, I'm going to do it because it's going to give me, followers or likes or comments or money or, whatever. I want to be able to enjoy the art, because at the end of the day, that's what it is to me. It's art, and it's expression, and it's emotion, and it's just being able to show the world like who I am through the content or through the art. And I think I've been able to like rediscover different ways to be creative, or different ways to show up online by doing things not online, right? Like journaling, reading my Bible, spending more time with God, like traveling. There's so many different outlets that you can do. Walking, exercising, hanging out with friends, going to museums. And these are all things that shape your creativity. They help you feel inspired. And the moments where I have felt most inspired, I wasn't thinking about the algorithm. I wasn't thinking about my followers. I was thinking about life. And life not only molds you, but it molds your creativity. It molds the way your mind thinks. Yeah, I think when you're just in a season of like not knowing what to create, then you need to look for different ways to rediscover your creativity, your art, your passion. Hopping back in here with another tip as far as planning content. Now, I will say, I'm just starting to get into this, okay? I have Notion now, and this time I promise I'm actually gonna try and use Notion. Like, I'm actually gonna put forth the effort. Also, if you have any other like project management apps or programs that you think are a good tool, please let me know. But this is what I have here. So I have my content space, and obviously you can see I haven't really done too much on there. I haven't really inputted anything, to be honest. But I'll have like here on the side, I have video ideas that I can put, resources, monthly goals, which let's hope I can do that. Creators that inspire me. This is a template that I got from somebody else. So I don't really need this one, but I kept it like just in case. And then brands I want to work with, and then I have notes here. So then I have like Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, you know, to be able to track and keep track and actually like, you know, stay on task. Also, I just bought this from Amazon. Again, I just got this today. So for September, I'm actually gonna write it down in here because I think digitally is great, but sometimes I like to see it like written down. I like to write it down and just visually see it on an actual paper. So that's how I'm also gonna keep track. I'm gonna put like which days I have to do videos, what videos I'm gonna be doing, so that I can actually create the content, you know? Lastly, your creativity is not about performance. It's about your presence. It's about showing up authentically yourself, like being you. It's about creating things that make you actually feel something, like feel an emotion rather than fitting into the algorithm. And I know the algorithm. I'm so sick of that word. I'm so sick of that word, but I truly feel like when you're creating for yourself and you're creating things that actually make you feel some type of emotion is when you will just naturally jump into that algorithm. You'll naturally be on people's radar because people will see you being yourself, and nobody likes somebody more than when they're being themselves. Because to be honest, some of your best work is going to be the messiest, unfiltered, raw, unedited content. It is. That's why sometimes the content that you create that's not super edited or like a production, sometimes that does better than like content that you actually scripted and you actually took your time on and you actually took 7 hours to edit. Because the thing is, what makes that content so powerful is that it's yours. Because at the end of the day, trends fade, perfection fades, but you know what always stays consistent? You showing up as you. And yes, we change throughout the seasons, and I think that's such a blessing and something so beautiful to be able to show the world that like, hey, I started watching her in this year and I'm watching her still 5 years later, and I've seen how she has evolved. I've seen how she has grown and changed, and that's a beautiful thing. But it's like, if you were not yourself from the start, how was anybody going to be along for your journey? So my last piece of advice is don't make things to be seen, but make things to be felt. We are emotion forward beings, and the way you can be unforgettable is being yourself.